So in my last video, I riffed on about how having a good story makes a game much more enjoyable and less addicting. Now there's one specific notion I deliberately didn't cover as much because I wanted to make a separate video about it and go into more detail. Do you all know what all good stories have in common? It's that they end. The beauty of a story is just as much in the ending as it is in the characters and plot development. In fact, in a lot of cases, a story is only as good as its ending. So for our next installment on why you should be playing RPGs instead of League, we'll discuss what is probably the most important video of the series. Why having an ending is not just important, but mandatory for ensuring you don't develop a gaming addiction. If you guys are new here, my name is Raybees and I help people have a better relationship with video games, so you don't end up ruining yourself addicted to them. I've spent about 12 years addicted to video games, and so the videos I make are content that I wish I would have seen when I first started out in gaming. If that sounds like something you would like to see more of, do the usual YouTube stuff and like and subscribe. One of the main problems with League and why it has developed into an infamously addicting game over the past decade is because the MOBA genre doesn't really have an ending point. Unlike RPGs, which have clearly defined endings where the story finishes and cannot be really progressed anymore, League is more of a vast, sprawling mess where there's no end in sight. You can play 8 hours a day, 52 weeks straight, and you won't even come close to a goddamn ending. Forget finding the ending, can you even tell me what the ending even is for League of Legends? Think about that. Some of you are addicted to a game that you can't even finish, a game where you can't even conceive of an ending. Under that perspective, you can see how easy it is to get addicted, right? When there's not a clearly defined end in sight, you're given free reign to play as much as you'd like. It creates a perpetual cycle of addictive behavior. Now, for the people that have stuck with me for a minute, you already know that I made a similar video to this before titled The Infinite Game. In it, I explain the dangers of having an infinite skill ceiling and an infinite number of interactions to the point where you will never finish the game no matter how much you play. Think about it, guys. Most things in your life have an ending. The weeks of the calendar, most relationships, even your own fucking life has an ending. If you guys have ever watched popular TV shows that deal with like supernatural or immortal beings, you'll know that one of the primary struggles for these immortal beings is that they are tired of living for so goddamn long. Eternal life is supposed to be one of the greatest gifts that man can ever conceive of, but instead of rejoicing in it, they come to realize that living forever doesn't really matter when you have nothing to live for. It's simply an assault on your consciousness that you have to live for all these years without ever getting a death. For these supernatural beings, death is a much needed turn off switch, one that they're so eager to press because they just want out of the ride. Think about that in relation to League. You play and play and play and play, and it never ends. You're so caught up in the constant stream of the same fucking map, placebo changes, bullshit champion kits, and the community of shitheads that most of you don't even realize that there's a whole host of other gaming experience that you could be having. I can tell you guys this, when I finished the main story for both Cyberpunk and The Witcher, there was such a satisfying feeling of release. I had gone through such a tumultuous and emotional journey as a main character in both of these games, and there was meaning in my journey because it ended. There was a sense of closure and finality, and that helped me appreciate the game even more, much more so than I've ever do with League. You guys know the saying, you only miss something when it's really gone. Story-based RPGs are wonderful because the ending gives you time to reflect back on the journey and reminisce fondly about the experiences you've had, and it makes you appreciate the experience even more. Unless you boot up the game from scratch again, you won't get to experience the same journey again, and it definitely won't be the same as you first experienced it. Rather than engaging in the perpetual hamster wheel of League of Legends that gets very repetitive and formulaic after a while, why not engage in video gaming media that provide you with a vast array of tasks and experiences that eventually end? Video games at their best are meant to be interactive books and movies. It's supposed to bring you a whole complex and wide array of emotions as well as a story woven together by memorable characters and a compelling plotline. Competitive games are honestly some of the stupidest shit to spend time on because of their depth. While it may be a good thing for a video game company to make a compelling and addictive video game with a billion interactions and nuanced ways to express yourself, it's not really a good thing for you specifically, because you definitely have much more important things to do with your life than just sit there on your ass slouched over a mouth breathing while you click away trying to improve on your combos or whatever. There's nothing more pathetic than some adolescent young man freeloading off of his parents, not having a clue about the shit that they go through to provide for him, huffing and puffing like a bitch because they told him to fucking lower his video game time or something. There's actually nothing more pathetic, guys. And I know this is the case because I was one of these pathetic little bitches. I don't want you guys to follow in my footsteps. You really shouldn't game, period, but if you choose to do so, for the love of God, please make it something that has a definitive ending point so you know when to quit rather than go on a never-ending downward spiral. When I'm done with the series, I'll eventually make a video on how fucking pathetic it is to waste time to try to get good at video games. If you want to watch it when it drops, subscribe to the channel. Join my Discord if you want to chill with the community and get a free 30-minute call with me talking through your own gaming addiction and steps on how to fix it. I'll leave the entire playlist here so you can get the full lowdown on making the switch over from sweaty competitive games like League to more chill games like RPGs. I'll see you guys there. And remember, it's actually pretty easy to alleviate your addictive gaming tendencies. Follow me and I'll show you how.